And a very warm welcome to you all, wherever you are, to Lockdown SK, the interactive self-isolation talk show, broadcasting to you live from our micro streaming studio on the beautiful island of Corfu in Greece. And may I just wish everybody a very happy St. George's Day, Shakespeare's Day, and the start of Ramadan. And as always, if there is an interruption to this broadcast, please log on to our website at www.studiokerkyra.com or the video platform that is vimeo.com, or else good old YouTube, whereupon you will see this broadcast in superb quality HD. And as always, to bring you this superb quality broadcast, I'm very lucky to be joined by our producer, Claire Haas, who will endeavour to answer all your comments on Facebook Live Messenger and take those calls initially on Skype, should you be brave enough to phone us in. And as always, I'm very lucky indeed to be joined in the micro studio today by the one and only Mr. Thomas Haas. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, Adrian. You're feeling better now.
Yes, I'm better now. I'm still taking the medicine.
What great intro. Thanks, man.
Well, I don't know. I got it right maybe for once. So I
it's brilliant.
have a little stutter here and there.
Yeah. So hello, everybody. Thanks for logging on. Thanks for switching on to another episode of Lockdown SK. It's episode 36 now. And as always, I'm getting a lot of messages already in from you lovely people around the planet, especially from the UK, Greece, everywhere. It's everywhere. It's
They're
fantastic,
all wonderful.
guys. Yeah, we are great. We're feeling loved, and thank you very much for that, guys. Lorraine Smith is watching, is saying hi yet again from a very warm, sunny Portsmouth.
Oh, good.
They
for
nicked
you,
our
Laurie.
sun because it's getting better. Margaret Johnston is saying hi from a hot and sunny Kent.
Wow, they're all hot and sunny.
I
Hello,
know.
Margaret.
Nicholas Lebro saying hi to all.
Hi, Nico.
And hi, Annabelle. Of
Hi,
course, thanks
Annabelle.
for watching. Melita is writing in already. Hi, Melita. She's saying happy St. George's Day. I know it is the patron saint of England, but also a Greek Orthodox saint. The best of good Anglo-Greek relations.
Oh, good point,
Definitely.
Melita. We like that. Thank you very much for reminding us. Actually, St. George is celebrated in quite a few countries, but I wasn't aware of the Greek connection. So that's a good one. Always good to expand the grey cells.
Definitely. And the next one here from Tom Giddings. Hi from sunny Bedford.
Bideford, yes.
Bideford, sorry.
He's
I
drinking
always
his
say the song.
mythos. Mythos, I
Mythos,
dare
yes.
say. He likes his
Yeah,
mythos.
see if he still got mythos left. You never know. He's going to
Hopefully,
answer in a
yes.
second. Right? Vivian from Ireland is watching.
Hi,
Hi,
Vivian.
hello. All you brighten our day. Thank you very much.
No, Vivian, you brighten ours, believe you me. All you wonderful people in County Donegal, we love to hear from you. That's why we're here, for all you lovely people. It's your digital platform, so don't hold back. Send those comments in to Facebook Live, or else be brave. Pick up the phone and dial us on Skype.
And hello to Richard Onslaw is watching here from Corfu. Thanks, Richard,
Hi,
for
Richard.
tuning in and watching again. It's great. And I'm still waiting for some more pictures, please, because he's a great photographer. I like his
Yes.
landscapes are
superb
great, man.
sunsets. Absolutely, yes. Very good indeed.
We looked at last year and this year we had a couple of things, but last year he had a fantastic moon
And
picture.
some moon shots.
Oh,
Yes, that's
great
right.
moon
Yes,
shots
I
last
remember
year.
those. Yes, indeed.
Definitely. Thanks for tuning in. Jackie Cherry is watching. Is saying,
Hi, Jackie.
hi everybody. Melita is writing hot in London. It's
Great.
everywhere hot and we're
But
a
not
little
here.
bit chilly here.
Yeah.
Ling Ling Jiang is watching from California. Thanks for tuning in.
Wow,
Graham
great.
Ya is watching. And Steve Bowers is watching. Steve is saying hi from a sunny Manchester. So they're rubbing it in now.
You've got more sun than we have, mate.
Definitely.
Steve, thanks very much for your comment about Lavinia. Vinny, bless her, she's a wonderful lady. And she's right. She did exemplify in her comment from yesterday about how this island is so special. It's the people. And it's all to do with philoxenia, isn't it? This notion of being good to strangers, gifts. And that, of course, formed part of the story from Homer of the Odyssey. More about that another time. But as you all know, anyone to know with Corfu, it's the people that makes this island. They complement the natural beauty.
Definitely. And hello to Johnny Cloutier is watching. Thanks for watching. Kathy Duckworth is watching. Hi from Rhoda.
Hi,
Rhoda
Kathy.
is very nice. Nikos, of course. And Steve Ford is watching.
Hello, Steve.
So it's great. Vivian is writing in. Hello, Adrian and Thomas. Is it true that Corfu is opening on the 27th of May? So you're kicking us nicely off with that question
good
because
one,
we
Vivian.
spoke about that. Yeah.
We did. Thank you for asking the question, Vivian. We have absolutely no categoric idea to say yes or no, but our feeling is we can't be sure of that at all. On that very subject, Margaret Black was suggesting yesterday in a comment that she could book a flight from Gatwick to Corfu on the 18th of May. Well, I did some phoning around, and just before I came on air, I've got an official line from a member of EasyJet staff, which you may like to know, and it said this: all EasyJet crew are furloughed until May 31st. So as I understand it, the crew have all taken part through EasyJet of the government scheme in the United Kingdom to pay 80% of their wages. So if that is effective until the 31st of May by EasyJet staff, I would suggest that's extremely unlikely, Vivian. But you can always live in hope, and of course, if we hear anything to the contrary, we will immediately get back to you.
Definitely, and here, just to hook on, this is the latest released from the Greek government today, and the government is determined to take actions to restart hairdressers, beauty salons, and retailers on the 4th of May.
Oh,
larger shopping malls will be open after the 20th of May, and cafes, restaurants, and bars from the 25th of May to the 5th of June. So in this period, the opening of coastal areas will be allowed in the first 10 days of June, with the observance of safety, distance, and avoidance of overcrowding. Hotels are expected to open in June in 2 phases. The beginning will be with those that have a 12 months operation by the 15th of June, with seasonal hotels and accommodations will follow on the 1st of July. So, but nothing yet have been said about resumption of flights to be continued.
Right.
So that's...
Well, it's small movement in the right direction. That's the first bit of positive news on opening and de-escalating lockdown that we've yet heard here at StudioKerkyra. So thank you very much for telling us that, Thomas. And that was from the actual Greek government.
That's Greek government. That's a post released today, with all these things on it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Well, there's some hope
Cassie
there.
Mafrudi from Mafrudi Olive Press translated that. So she's on on her post in the Corfu Grapevine. You can read that all up. So it's the Corfu Grapevine. Go on there, and there you'll see from Cassie Mafrudi, Milan Mafrudi, the post. And this is great. Thank you very much for that.
Yes,
It's
indeed.
brilliant.
But of course, behind the scenes, we'll endeavour to try and find out more information for you. We have a few contacts here and there, and over the next 24 hours, we'll send some messages off to some key people that we personally know, just to see how it really lies the land in terms of ending this infernal lockdown, as I'm sure most of our viewers and listeners are heartily sick of it now, aren't they, Thomas? But of course, it is for a good reason, to stem the flow of COVID-19.
Yeah, and of course, and you get a little bit impatient now, especially because you're in lockdown for so long. I mean, we say so long.
It seems like it.
It seems like it. So, but China
15
was much longer, no?
Yes.
Wuhan,
Yes.
they were much longer under lockdown, 72 days or something.
End of January, yes. They
Yeah.
started the last week of
So
January, I think, and it was a very long time. And there was 15 million people locked down there in Wuhan, and they were pretty heavy-handed about it. We heard various stories about enforced lockdown, shall we say. Here for us in Greece, it's been since March the 15th, I do believe.
March the 15th, where it's proper
Yeah.
started. So we over months. It's of course you're getting now impatient with everything. No, well, the future. We spoke this earlier. We spoke this in other programs. It's the future now. How some people just can't see the way forward. You're sitting at home now. Everything you built around you is a little bit gonna change, and it's gonna carry on like that.
Absolutely.
It's not just happening now, and when this lockdown is over, that's it.
No, it's
going to have
stages.
so many
It's
different
absolutely.
implications, and
they're
you know,
all saying social distancing is expected to last well over a year from now. Mrs. Merkel said today several things, Thomas. She said that we were actually only at the very beginning of this long episode. Also, she's committed Germany to pledging large sums of money to help with the EU bailout fund. That's good news, maybe, for most people, maybe not so much if you're German. But Germany has managed to fight this COVID-19 crisis quite well, I have to say, in terms, compared to other countries. They've had a lot of tens of thousands of cases, but pro rata, not quite so many deaths. But she's very cautious about letting lockdown end too soon. It has to be done in stages, and there are movements afoot in Germany to ease certain lockdown restrictions, as there are indeed in Spain as well. But that's good news to hear from Greece, though, isn't it, Thomas?
Definitely. I mean, they locked down very early.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but it's still. I mean, we just got our 5th confirmed case here on Corfu. This is a young guy. This is the son of the woman who was in hospital. What is in hospital,
right.
I think now in Ionina. So I think he is on his way over there too. He's already there. But we got the fifth case here on Corfu. At the same time, the hospital released as they are expanding their ICU units.
Oh, yes.
As a unit completely, they're doubling it. In fact, so from the 5 beds they have now, they putting another 5 on top, and they're waiting for the equipment. And so
Okay,
they're getting prepared a little bit more now. But it was the fifth, and you don't know what to think. Is it now on the island? Is it not on the island? When you talk with locals, they say it's not on the island. But he's an islander, and he got tested here and found positive here, and then transferred.
Right.
So we've been touched by that here. It's no question. It's only, if you stay home, don't go out necessarily. If we keep to that, if we really push to that, and you know what, we are better off. We for sure better off than others.
Well,
definitely.
We strongly feel that, although I should point out not everybody feels the same way. And as I mentioned yesterday, someone was knocking on my door, a really jolly Australian. Now, unfortunately, we were hoping to bring you live his side of the argument today on Skype, but unfortunately he's got a few computer compatibility issues with Skype, but he's promised to sort them out. His name is Mr. Nicholas Johnson, no relation to the UK Prime Minister, I don't believe. But anyway, I don't think so.
You hope.
But, well, yes. Anyway, I'm up for talking to anybody, absolutely anybody, and everybody is welcome on StudioKerkyra, no problem whatsoever, particularly on Lockdown SK. We love to hear your views, whatever they are. But we were actually, to be honest, looking forward to a strenuous debate with Nicholas there, our jolly Australian friend. So, Nicholas, don't hold back. Do try and phone in, because we'd love to hear your point of view and perhaps your reasoning, why you think the way you do, because every person's view is as valid as the next, as it were. But I have to say, it does seem slightly incompatible with medical science, the professionals and the health services around the world. So let's talk that more when we can. So please phone in, Nicholas, when you can.
Definitely, and if you want to take part in the show, just right now live, your comment, I'm going to try to read it out and we can debate it, or send us an email to inbox@studiokerkyra.com. If I miss a message, I apologize. Claire is sitting on the other end and she's letting me know if I miss something, and obviously I have, because here's a comment in here. It's
Good one,
Lynn
Claire.
O'Hara. Lynn O'Hara is saying, "Hi Lynn, great to see you. It will be great for the villages to open end of May or start of June. Then we can give a kick start to the businesses. No groups, of course." I mean, that's true, you know, when
absolutely.
we hear that now, that they can at least reopen here. It helps already, it eases. Because everybody who lives here goes back, your coffee shops, your bars, your hairdressers, and that's all people, all businesses what suffer badly at the moment. So at least locally we can do some business. I think that's a good one. Thank you for that, Lynn.
And coffee shops and hairdressing salons and beauty parlours are very important to the good people here on this island of Corfu. Obviously, they want to look their best, hence the popularity of beauty parlours, to match the beauty of their island. So that makes common sense to me, and it very much is a coffee cafe society here. Fantastic. We miss the coffees, don't we, Thomas?
Oh, well, terribly. You know, there's nothing better than going out in the morning. Not the morning.
steady.
You know, I have a cup of coffee
Lunchtime, means, actually.
So it's this is the luxury being on this island, you know, because
we work late at night. We can't.
Yeah, but everybody, that's the beauty, because as soon as the summer starts, as soon as the business is open, and then everything is gonna go 10, 11, 12, midnight. You know, after midnight, nicely in. And that's the way of life here through the summer. You see this, but the Greek families, they all eat late too. So they start eating at 10, 11 at night, and this goes on. So there is more life at night than it's actually in the day, because it's too hot anyway. You relax, you enjoy the views, you enjoy this beautiful island. You know, take a swim, explore something, go look at history or whatever. But comes the evening, then it's cooling down. That's when the island really comes alive. And that's
do you remember those crazy, hectic Sunday nights in our local village of Aesmateus? It was the one evening when it really burst into life. And while I think of the village of Aesmateus, nestling on the hillside, beautiful village with loads of history, great place to visit when you can, of course. I'd like to say hello to Tom Farmer and his lovely wife. They're fantastic Irish people who have lived here for years. I hope they're all right. He does call into the program, I know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm going over. I'm getting a lot of messages in. Thanks, guys. I'm going to read that out in a minute. Another thing, just talking about the flights. I got it here. The European Transport Commission said on Wednesday, there's a set of rules how to resume air travel amid the pandemic is underway by the EU's executive body and due to be presented by mid May.
So mid-May.
That is now from the flight. So by mid-May they try to present something. Yeah.
Right. So nothing's going to happen at all. It can't without proper regulations until mid-May. But as I've just pointed out, EasyJet staff are all on furlong until the 31st of May. So we very much doubt that normal holidays are going to resume anytime soon. And we keep reminding everybody it's not just this country where you're hopefully going to come and visit, it's also the country from where you're leaving from, because every country is different and is going to start their air transportation systems in a different way. And it will all be staggered, I do believe. Social distancing and possibly that health passport that Thomas was talking about to us yesterday might also have to be effective. We just simply don't know yet. But at least things are sounding slightly positive. Maybe, dare I say, there's a few green shoots of holidayness there. Maybe.
Maybe, you never know. I mean, I got more. There's Lorraine Smith from Portsmouth is watching. It's great. Thank you. We got on. Cassie Duckworth is on there. Dawn Dodson is watching. Jerry is writing in, how can you have social distancing at the hairdressers? Well, we just have the rule, they're getting relaxed, so that's a good one.
It is a good one, but it depends how many chairs there are in there. I've been in one some time ago, because as you know, I don't get my hair cut many times, and there was a salon that had about 3 chairs, and they were about the correct distance. That was before lockdown. So I suppose it is achievable. Yes, it is.
Must be.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or else you have private appointments in the salon, you know. You just don't have your hair cut with anyone else around. I think that's probably the answer.
Yeah, should be. And again, hello, Duran Din Van Zanten. Hello from the Netherlands. Thank you. See, I'm missing messages, and Gail lets me know. So sorry, guys. I'm trying really hard.
We love to hear from the Netherlands. Great country, great race of people in Europe. The Dutch, fantastic. If you're ever in trouble around the world and there's a Dutch person anywhere in the vicinity, and guaranteed they will help you. Well, that's my personal experience. So we love hearing from everyone in the Netherlands. Actually, we heard that we were broadcast once in a coffee shop, didn't we, Thomas?
Yeah, it was quite funny. Somebody said
wrote in
a couple of weeks ago, sitting in the coffee shop, what he shouldn't do, but very, very naughty. But,
we don't know who
with
or
a
where
few
that
people.
was.
And yes, and he said he couldn't believe he saw lockdown in Amsterdam on a screen. There. No, he said many people were just friends, and the owner there, that was all
a private
lockdown for their side. Yeah, why not? No, but he got invited. He went in and he said he saw that there. He was smiling, no, and then they didn't believe him. He knows us, so he had to take the pictures out of his phone. Now to show them what he took with us a couple of years ago. So it was quite funny, man. Yeah,
he must have. Well, it's nice he didn't throw rotten tomatoes at us. It's nice to hear that, anyway, isn't it?
Definitely. And Vivian is writing in saying, thank you guys. You might get your t-shirts very soon then. Lol. And Thomas can make his bread. See, I'm getting work already there.
Good one, Vivian.
Nicholas Luvros is writing in Johnson's original name was Kemal.
Yes,
Father
Turkish.
changed it when immigrated to the USA.
Yes, he has Turkish blood, and he did have US citizenship, although I think that may have changed now somehow. I've lost track, to be quite honest with you. But certainly, as are most people in the United Kingdom, I hate to remind you, everybody, we're all a mixture, you know, even myself. I don't think there is. I hate to disappoint anyone, but I really don't think there is such a thing as a pure-blooded Englishman. You may strongly disagree with that point, but I'm talking about the DNA and the blood mix because, as you know, the United Kingdom has been invaded many times. Don't forget the Normans. Don't forget the Saxons. Don't forget the Picts. Don't forget possibly the Celts as well. Don't forget anybody. We're all one race, you know, at the end of the day, and it's great that we are, because then we can celebrate each other's cultures and hopefully perspectives.
You said it.
On the subject of food, Thomas, can I just ask Chris Taberner, how was your double-baked cheese souffle? I'd love to know. He mentioned it yesterday.
He said something there. That's a good
very
one.
Nice, yeah.
No, why not? Here is from Adam James a message. Hello, Adrian. Rach and Adam, Rock Village, home of the happy horses.
Yes, Adam and Rachel, absolutely fantastic to hear from you. I really hope you're getting on, particularly with all your horses, and I know it's been very hard for you, but it's great to hear from you, and I'm glad you're watching the show. And if you have any suggestions, questions, or want to share your experiences, don't hold back. Phone us in, Adam, on Skype. We'd love to talk to you. And Rachel, fantastic.
And here, Lavinia is watching. Hi, Winnie. Thanks for watching. Jackie Cherry still. But the hairdresser is touching you. So how is
gloves, maybe? Gloves?
And Don Dodson, not possible. Adrian, the hairdresser, has to be very close to you. It is, you know, why we spoke. How is the
Yes, okay. That's a good point, Dawn. I can't argue with that. But you got me there. You got me there. But they're doing it in Denmark, so I don't quite know how they're managing there. Denmark started on Monday with beauty parlors, hairdressing salons, and tattoo artists. I mean, the same applies for the tattooist, isn't it? He's got to get up close and personal with those needles.
Yeah, but maybe Robert Abertley has the answer to it. He said hairdressing by drone. That's gotta be some euro to be made. You know? So,
well, that's thinking outside the box, Robert. Yes, good to hear from you. Welcome aboard to Lockdown SK in beautiful Bewdley. I know that you are. Yes, drones, maybe, perhaps little small ones, maybe, but who's going to be controlling them? I don't know. I can see a few potential disasters. I don't think I'd lay my head exposed to the ravages of a drone. I have enough problem with my hair as it is.
hey, I got a drone. I got some scissors, mate.
Steady. Yeah, I think the gyro on the drone's gone a bit wonky. I hate to think that the result of that would be.
Live a little, mate.
Yeah, I can think of other ways of living. I don't know about having my head chopped by a drone is one of them, but never mind. In for a penny, in for a pound. Why not?
Yeah, but Matteo Wolf is watching, and this is our lovely technician from Cosmo Day.
Yes,
here.
Matteo.
And what a great company. Great, thanks for watching.
Oh, Cosmo
Matteo.
Day, the best, #1 in Greece.
Yeah, but I have here Steve Ford was writing it earlier and said, hi, Ol, he's reading Mythos by Stephen Fry in the sunshine.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Brilliant, Steve. That was a big noise about that on Twitter a year ago. I haven't read it myself. Perhaps, Steve, when you finished, you could give us a quick appraisal. We have actually got a fabulous photograph that Thomas is.
Should we show how Steve is sitting at the moment in his garden?
Go on.
We really
tease the audience.
Yeah, here we go.
That's
Steve Ford, ladies and gentlemen. He is sitting and is reading the book from Stephen Fry, Mythos.
Brilliant,
so, with no mythos to drink. So that's a shame. That's a shame.
It is.
But I'm gonna get the bottle and I'm gonna drink it in your honor, Steve. So don't worry.
Nice. I like the captain's cap though.
I think it's great.
Hellas on there. It's marvellous. Yes. On my screen, Thomas, I have to say the colours are wrong, and it looks like he's sitting in a Greek flag deck chair, but actually it's teal green, isn't it? But you're almost there, Stephen. We certainly get the Greek feel and the Greek vibe coming all the way from Wolverhampton.
Definitely. So our greetings to you, Steve.
Absolutely. He's brilliant, Steve. You know, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, anyone who knows that guy on this island, and by means there's quite a few, him travelling around on his bike doing wonderful things for good causes and charities, particularly a children's home and all the rest of it. Steve Ford has raised a lot of money for this island for all good causes, all of them genuine. No funny business with Steve, no backhanders or fraud. No. Genuine as they come, Steve is, and I know he's known and loved by many people on this island, and the island itself would, and us especially, Steve, would really welcome you back with open arms, and all our other viewers and listeners that bother to write in, wherever you are. We're really looking forward to that day. And yes, to the people that I mentioned it in a few weeks ago, days ago, I should say, we will endeavour to have some sort of party, post-lockdown party, when you can all get here. Wouldn't that be great, Thomas?
Oh, definitely. So let's cross our fingers and see what's gonna happen. If there's really something, you know, we know. So they're gonna present something, the European Commission, in the mid of May, and then we know more what's happening with air travel. So this has to be coordinated between them all. I can't see that somebody starts before that. And what you said about EasyJet, so they're not thinking of flying at all this season.
It looks
so
to May anyway. And the holidays, the email that came through the other day to us are only advertising next year's holidays, everything in 2021. On the subject that Margaret Black, I do beg your pardon, Margaret Black mentioned yesterday she did try and book a flight just to see, but I'm told by the EasyJet member of staff that that flight will probably be cancelled and you'll just be offered a refund or a voucher, although refunds is a sore subject at the moment. The consumer magazine Which is commenting on the difficulty that customers are having in receiving these cash refunds from airlines and holiday companies. I do believe it's not going as smoothly as it should. Obviously, the airline's point of view is they want to retain you as a customer and will try and push you on to later on in the season or next year. But I don't really see the point of booking just because the website is allowing you to until you actually get more information from Greece, for instance, and indeed from the UK if you're flying from the UK, because at the moment there isn't much happening. As I said to you yesterday, the number of flights down from most airports are by 90% reduction. So there's nothing happening at the moment apart from cargo flights and emergency services, and of course still going on are repatriation flights, would you believe?
They're still going on, yeah. They're
Yes,
still
they
not
are.
over, so
Yeah.
it is quite seeing. And then we're hearing already talks about the second wave, what doesn't
Well,
fill you with
yes.
confidence in
No,
the thing.
exactly.
So is social distancing. Man, you got something
I
about that.
have,
Let me
yes.
read a couple of
Absolutely.
messages quickly out, and then we go in to yours. Steve Powers was writing in, I love watching and participating in Greek dancing.
Oh.
But will social distancing affect dancing, as there is a lot of contact, as we know?
Good
On
question.
English radio this morning, they were saying it will be the end of the handshake for a long time.
Do you know, I've heard that said by others recently, and I have to say, on a personal note, that fills me with utter dread and sorrow, because I'm one of those Mr. Handshake guys. It's my intuitive reaction when you see somebody or you wish to congratulate them or just warmly say hello. It's a handshake. It's the most fundamental thing ingrained into my brain. So I think we'll just have to retrain the brain, as it were, and try and find other, maybe more novel ways of greeting each other. I mean, you probably know people have been doing elbows and they've been doing that kind of thing. That's still a touch, mind you, but do you know, humans are social creatures. I mean, never mind about monkeys and bonobo chimpanzees. We, as people, Homo sapiens, the species that is us, the genus that is human beings, being humankind, I should say, we are social.
Yeah,
we
but
are.
you know
I would
what?
say we're all touchy-feely, but there is a strong element
There's a
of touch.
different-
A
yeah.
hug. I mean, who
It's
doesn't want a hug, for heaven's sake? Well, I know there are some that don't, but
Steady.
steady, yeah, right, I'll retract pretty quickly for that statement. But no, a hug is a thing that, you know, we've become accustomed to. And sadly, out and socialising in the world at large, I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon.
I know. You're a hugger, aren't you?
Well, yes, on the quiet, I am. Well, never mind about the quiet. Yes, I'm a hugger and a handshaker. And so, therefore, those exclusions will affect me quite strongly, personally, I think.
Yeah, but you know what? We can learn from other cultures. On this example here, we can learn from the Japanese, because
yes.
they don't shake hands when they
No,
meet.
they bow, don't they?
to
Yes.
each other when they meet.
And
So
that's a
maybe
good
that's
one.
another
Yeah.
thing. You know, we done it in the past. When you see bowing were very important. When you look for the history in Europe, it's just you know, for the last 2-3 decades, nobody does it anymore. But when I grow up, it was always when we had to shake hands, we had to bow as kids, no, to show you respect. And there is the mutual. So maybe we learn something here from the Japanese, and instead of saying, we just smile at the other and bow. So hey,
That's a good point. A bow is good, isn't it?
a bow is as good as a handshake.
The Indians do this kind of thing a few feet apart. Namaste to our Indian friends. So there are more than one way to have a physical greeting, if you like, without actually touching the other person. And maybe we have to be thinking outside the box, as they say.
Yeah, could be, yeah. But you
Going
got,
back, yes, you mentioned second waves and things like that. There was a bit of a furore yesterday because the CDC director in the United States gave an interview the other day to the Washington Post, and he's one of those gentlemen that you see standing behind President Donald Trump. He's the director of the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and I just got his name here, and I've lost it, actually. It's my writing again. But anyway, no, it's a Richard Sullivan is his name, and he's very concerned that there's this second wave that's going to come about, because he made the point about winter. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong piece of paper. Right. It's Mr. Redfield. Forget what I've just said. It's a Mr. Redfield who's the director of the CDC, and he gave an interview to the Washington Post, which said this: there is a possibility that the assault of the virus on our nation next winter will actually be even more difficult than the one we just went through. We are going to have the flu epidemic and the coronavirus epidemic at the same time. Now, he got into a lot of trouble for saying that and a little bit more. CNN misreported him, and he had to explain himself to the president. But he still stands by that statement. I checked before we went on broadcast live, by the statement that he gave to the Washington Post. So it is common sense, if you think about it. Wintertime is prevalent for flu, and just imagine the combination of flu and an unprepared country with COVID-19 at the same time. And of course, the bottom line worry here is the sheer strain on all the medical services that such a thing would happen. To the people that say, it's only a bit of flu, to put that into perspective, normal, if there is such a thing as normal influenza, kills between 400 and 600,000 people a year, which is a lot, and COVID-19 may end up not killing quite so many. Let's hope it doesn't. The problem with COVID-19 is the way it attacks the body, the organs, the immune system. It's an extremely nasty thing. And like all diseases, different people get it in different severity cases. We heard a moving interview yesterday we were very lucky to speak to Alex Preston, weren't we, from the Corfu Literary Festival, speaking to us. I got it wrong, Thomas. He wasn't in Kent. He's somewhere in wonderful, beautiful Sussex. I do apologise, Alex. I got your location completely wrong. But he was sharing with us his personal experience of suffering from COVID-19. And we're very glad he's made a full lasting recovery. He looks absolutely great on screen yesterday, so that was very good indeed. It's not a little bit of flu like President Bolsonaro says in Brazil. Is far more serious than that.
Definitely. And here, just getting on why we spoke about the second wave, Karen Marquis is writing in and say, "Hi guys, you mentioned second wave. This is what I'm afraid of, as I think it could be worse as it was with the Spanish flu. I'm looking at the Sweden. They seem to be faring better than the UK, despite not having any lockdowns. So makes you wonder." So that's another. It's a fair question. It's a great one.
Very fair question.
Yeah.
Why Sweden has, relatively speaking, not had such a terrible virulence of the virus. The Prime Minister said in an offhand comment a few weeks ago it was down to the tough constitution of the Swedes. Maybe. Maybe there's more in this DNA and genetics. Don't forget that it's continually being reported that ethnic minorities and non-white people are much more likely to suffer COVID-19 than non-coloured people, I should say. So we don't know why that is. I was reading something about sickle cells the other day. I don't know how true that is, and I don't know all the ins and outs of that subject, to be honest with you. But there does seem to be disparities here between different races and types of people for some unknown reason. But you're absolutely right to be concerned, as are many political leaders around the globe, for the second wave, or indeed some have even suggested a third wave, simply because the health services could not cope.
Yeah. So, and that's going to be a problem. That's maybe why the hospital here in Corfu is doubling the ICU unit. So they're preparing, because you never know. Better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing. I'm getting a lot of messages in. Thank you so much, guys, for taking part. I'm trying to not miss anything. But here from David Roseman as example, because we were talking about the flights, and that's what the next thing we wanted to talk is about, the refunds. There's no problems for people getting refunds for their booked holidays and for their flights. And there were a great article also online.
All right.
Let me switch over. I have to see that quickly. And these all big UK airlines and travel firms denying refunds. So, and this is from the Guardian today. So if you go onto the Guardian's website, you can read that article. But it says all of the UK's biggest airlines and most big holiday companies are systematically breaking the law by denying timely refunds to customers for travel cancelled during the pandemic. Research has found. I mean, I think this is quite interesting. And here I got straight on from David Roseman. Hi, David. Thank you. EasyJet has been forced into putting the online refund form back onto their website, but there will still be a long delay in receiving the money.
I'm sure.
So it's they got forced to put it back. They took it down. Why? I have no idea. But when I look at the article here, it's becoming a headache on this direction. I think everybody is a little bit impatient now. Every day seems like a week when you sit at home and you do nothing.
Absolutely.
You have no prospects of going out or doing that. It's you severely restricted. So everything gets a little bit on the edge.
David has reminded me of something, of an email I received about 2 or 3 weeks ago from the Chief Executive Officer of EasyJet, Johan Lundgren, his name is, and he, in writing, has promised either vouchers, alternative rebooking of flights, or cash refunds. I've got that in writing, David, on an email, so maybe certain people could write to the Johan Lundgren, the chief exec of EasyJet, and asked why they haven't received their cash refunds. But I dare say their coffers are not exactly flowing at the moment, and they usually report a loss in the winter months, EasyJet. Although, just to remind everybody, you won't like me for saying this, but back in February, the end of February, they still managed to pay out their dividend to shareholders, and it was widely criticised in the media at the time, at the timing of this. So perhaps had they not paid the dividend, they might have got a bit more money in to issue cash refunds to travellers who cannot travel at the moment, due to no fault of their own. But definitely there is a furore going on this subject, and I know the consumer magazine Which in the United Kingdom is definitely full on investigating this. So I dare say the best thing you could do if you really want your cash refund is to keep piling the pressure on. Email is your best bet.
Definitely, and I'm looking between the
bombard them.
Bombard them.
Yeah. Bombardment, that's the word.
Give it to them. Yeah, that would be, flood the servers.
Yeah.
That would be great. I'm getting a lot of messages in here, guys. Sorry, Kitty. I have the cat going. Yeah,
yes.
She's great. She's
more
lovely.
Viewers, more friends. Wonderful.
But when I look in, there's more messages coming regarding Sweden now. I'm coming. Yes, Patricia Webster is writing, there are several reasons Sweden is doing better. Their healthcare system is better. The Swedes in general are a culture, not touchy-feely people, where she is right, under normal circumstances. Plus, they do have some rules. So there's for sure some distancing going on, they get advised. But
Yes,
they are not under lockdown.
No,
But
no.
it seems they're very civilized and they can cope with that in a way. They're keeping distance of each other. And she's right, they are not that touchy. So it depends on the culture.
What about Swedish actors? Are they touchy-feely? Actors are usually...
I have no idea.
No idea. No, I have not. Patricia, thank you very much for sharing that with us, and I hope you're well and happy wherever you are.
Definitely. And here Lavinia is writing in and saying, forgot to say, Cronia Polado, Georgios is today their name day.
Oh, thank you, Vinny.
It's great.
Good one, yes.
So Cronia Polado, the Georgios is today. My late husband's name was George. And 1 year, I think it's 1983, she says, his grateful patience given him 27 pot plants. We nearly had to move out of the house as Georgios had a problem with the pollen allergies. You think you do something good and then you got that one.
Unfortunate, isn't it? Oh dear.
Thanks for that one.
Yeah.
That's great. Patricia Webster is saying hello, and there's a message from her saying CNN did not misquote Trump. Trump was trying to backpedal and gaslight, saying he didn't say it. So there was something, I don't know what.
It's this man from the CDC who stands behind Trump, like that lady, I can't think of her name. Have you noticed how she's changed her appearance? When she started off, she looked very dowdy. And the last time I saw her, she was in the most extravagant floral outfit. But certainly Mr. Trump has come under a lot of criticism. I think we can believe the man from the CDC. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to medicine.
Yeah, so we see that one.
Yes, well, I'm
hearing so much at the moment, and she's totally right. He is trying to backpedal now.
Well,
that's another one. Nikos
yeah.
let the thing out, and I'm just going over. I read that, and I think he's right here. No, the backpedaling. They had their stand when this all started off. Trump and Johnson did not take that serious.
Well, they certainly didn't
at
act
all.
quickly enough on it. No,
not quickly enough. All was seen. And here over, if the Prime Minister is well enough to speak to Trump and is in a good spirits, why does he not communicate with us? That's a fair question.
That's a very
That's
fair
straight
question.
on. Thanks, Nikos.
Yes, and there is this constant, persistent criticism in the United Kingdom that there is a lack of leadership going on at the moment, and it's hard for us to comment over here, but what you read, it appears to be the case. So that is a very good point, Nico. Yes, why can't he talk to the British nation? I'm sure he could use Zoom, for instance. I don't know. It's all a funny business.
Yeah, no, it's a thing, but when he has time to talk with Trump, and I don't know what they're deciding now, what to do. But I mean, the country has more problems. They're still with the PPE. There's still problems to get this delivered. The last flight, came in, only half of the amount ordered came through.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday we spoke about it, the combined scheme with the European Union to buy these grounds and to get that all in. They opted out of that, so they rejected that thing too. And this is something to do with Brexit, probably. No, we don't need the EU. We're going to show them, there's not a sign of weakness when you cooperate or collaborate with someone. And that's what I think. Somehow I'm thinking, I don't want to say that really, but there's so much people out there what's over-educated, and lost touch with reality, lost touch with life,
yes,
lost touch with the people.
No common
And,
sense, I think.
Exactly, and that's,
about,
and this you can clearly see here.
Yes, the agreement you were talking about was the EU Joint Procurement Agreement, and it had 4 schemes, 2 of PPE, 1 of ventilators, and 1 of testing. The dates, the first date is actually for a scheme for masks, gloves, and coveralls, which was agreed on the 28th of February. So had the UK participated, they would have had those by now. The ventilators were agreed on the 17th of March, and the testing kits and other lab equipment agreed on the 19th of March. But of course, the UK, despite the EU offering 3 or 4 times in recent weeks for the UK to participate in this scheme, the UK, for whatever reason, declined. The government spokesman yesterday said, "Oh, it was a communication error, a lost email."
This is communication error.
We lost email.
Lost the email. This is all the excuses what come through, and that shaped that shaped the last generation. Yeah. If you look in now, especially in business, and we do a lot of business with other countries, but in the UK, it comes out. You can see that. You talk with somebody, nobody can give you a straight answer. There's immediately an excuse coming out. Yeah, of course, how should they think differently when the government is using that constantly? For me, it's, yes, we got the message. You want to out of the European Union, you done it, you gone from the 31st of December. Fine, accept it. The other side is, we know that all, but still, you can cooperate, especially when so many lives are in danger. You don't lose your face. There's nothing politically wrong with it. That's just straightforward. In a crisis situation like this, I have to leave these feelings to the side and do what is best for my people. And they just seem not to manage that. Full stop.
Because I think some political ideologue has overtaken their rational brain. I don't want to get into the old Brexit argument, but I have to say that looking at those dates with the EU procurement agreement, it does appear that Brexit figures largely. I mean, I still keep seeing Nigel Farage. Why do I keep seeing Nigel Farage popping up on blooming YouTube all the time, peddling his blooming whatever it is? We never hear a recourse from the other side. I would like to, and Thomas, I would very much like us to have a live debate here at StudioKerkyra exactly about Brexit, because I think we're still suffering the effects, even though the actual thing hasn't happened yet.
No, and man, it's going to happen 31st of December. Fine, and that's all good. If there's somebody wants to move on with it. It's a thing, but it comes to a point now where it's getting so annoying when things suffer what should have nothing to do with that.
It's monstrous, actually.
It's
we should all be coming together. And actually, as I said before on Lockdown SK, in a time of crisis, which everybody in the know is agreeing that no countries have suffered a crisis since the Second World War, or even beyond that, is worse than the General Depression of the 1930s and beyond that, and the Spanish flu of the 1918 and onwards of that. This time now, COVID-19 is the greatest crisis affecting all these governments. In times of extreme crisis, you need to come together to collaborate. A unity government should have been formed in all these countries, both in America and the United Kingdom. I'm firmly of that opinion. And if you think differently, anyone who's listening to me prattle on, please get back to me. Live, call me, Skype me, or send a message via Facebook Live. I will respond accordingly, because I think it is a crisis, and in a crisis, you need to pull together. The key word we keep banging on here on Lockdown SK is collaboration. And it's no good, these extreme political views. They're not getting anywhere.
No, not getting anywhere.
Lives are being lost. It's as simple as that. And think about the care homes. I mean, all these figures that we broadcast to you, courtesy of the World Health Organization and the Bing site and the COVID-19.live site, they all rely on, obviously, good figures from the respective governments, and there's a time lag, we know that, and they're minimum figures. But here's the key thing. Most of them are hospital deaths. In the United Kingdom, this is especially so, and there are continual warnings of the underreporting of actual deaths due to COVID-19. Today, I read a report in the Financial Times organized by the Office of National Statistics, that's right, ONS, that says actually there could be as many as 40,000 unrecorded deaths in UK care homes due to COVID-19. I'll repeat that figure again, 40,000. I've lost track of the running total of the UK. I think it's 18,000 poor souls have lost their lives to COVID-19. Well, actually, probably another 40,000 on top of that, so we could be looking at a total of about 60,000. And I'm not scaremongering, and I'm not exaggerating. The care homes are absolutely being devastated right now.
Yeah.
It's a trapped environment. One person gets it, you've all got it, really. And the staff are in terrible trouble as well because they have to go out. But here's a thing I must share with you, Thomas. There's a wonderful video on a BBC News website, and it's from the Victoria Care Home in the Isle of Wight. And this is a shining, wonderful example where the staff there have got together and they are living in the garden. They're all camping out in tents. No one's going anywhere. No one's leaving. No one's coming in. And they've been like this now for quite some time. So they're determined to keep their 20 patients safe as houses inside this wonderful care home, Victoria Care Home on the Isle of Wight. To me, that's a shining beacon of an example of how to run a care home during COVID-19 crisis. And I really do hope that the Prime Minister, or Matt Hancock, the Health Secretary at least, recognises the sacrifice and the sheer good common sense that these people in this one care home are doing. And I know there's others. There's a lady in Wales who owns a care home who decided to go back and live in with her patients. Good on her. And I think drastic measures will have to be taken in the UK for care homes, because even though there may be 40 dead now, there's going to be more coming.
Yeah, talking on that, Madame Giddings is saying care homes are not being reported.
No,
that
they're
was
not.
Just
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's where the Financial Times and the Office of National Statistics are saying the true figure is over 40,000 died so far in UK care homes, which is not anywhere in the official figures of coronavirus pandemic. So yes, it's horrific. It really is.
It's no, this is done, I got here good messages in here.
Great.
This one from Anthony van der Krank is, we are only one Earth. And that's right. You see it? And we are only one Earth. It doesn't matter. We are different nationalities. No. We manage, especially for the internet, to make this so global. Exactly. Look at us here. We're talking with people from around the world. How fantastic is that? We speak one language, and if not, there's translations program available. But we have to embrace that. This, I think, is a time to embrace all these things.
Totally.
And David Roseman writing in, Boris is well known for disappearing when things get tough and leaving someone else to take the criticism. Yeah, it's spot on, and that's what's probably happening now. Let's see when he is appearing from his villa down there, no? After a good rest, maybe a little bit of ride out on a horsey or something. I don't know, but it's getting to a point now where I'm gonna speak my mind, and I'm not afraid of that. It's we have to think with your people in mind, nothing else, and not just yours. Everyone, we are one Earth, we are one planet, and that can be we can only fight that all together and not separately, like Trump and Johnson is trying to do. I mean, the Americans are already filing lawsuits. Germany too for 133 billion. China for this. Now in this time, we're putting that in. You see how they all think.
The state of Missouri has just put in a claim against China. How on earth that could work or happen, I don't know, and I don't think it possibly should. I think, as Thomas has just said, we should all be collaborating. Going back to the UK a minute, Thomas, I think that the fall guy there for Boris Johnson's misnomers is going to be Matt Hancock, the Health Secretary. I dare say there'll be a sweeping cabinet reshuffle. Personally speaking, I think there should be an election, but there you go. Obviously, postal voting, of course, only. Although Korea managed to pull off a general election right in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, and fair play to them.
Totally. I mean, here, Vivian van Island, Trump's name suits him as he's full of wind. Straight on. Yeah,
great, Vivian, we like it.
Here, Cassie Duckworth is writing in and saying, is it deliberate by the government that care homes are not getting BBE? I mean, at the same time, Gary O'D says, big respect for all the carers everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yes,
the workers, they are so unsung and forgotten, and they really are the heroes on the front line, every bit as much as a nurse or a doctor in a hospital. And people do tend to forget them. And absolutely, you are right to draw that to our attention. We should be really grateful and respectful for them. And that's another reason. You see, you don't know where these people work when you see them out and about, but by not going out, by observing maximum lockdown, you are protecting not only unknown care workers, but also their patients at the other end as well. And you're protecting yourself. So I can't understand people who are very anti-lockdown. And as I said before, we were hoping to hear from a caller very jolly Australian guy who was going to argue the opposite of what I've just said.
Yeah.
If you have a view that is completely different to the one being espoused here by StudioKerkyra,
let
please
us
let
know.
us know.
We discussed that.
Yes.
That's great. You know, that's what it's all
totally.
about. It's
And we'll
debate. We in the birthplace of debate. So why not this
exactly
debating
Couldn't be
things? We don't have to
better
be
anywhere
angry
else.
with each other.
No, we'll
Come
be
on.
polite
we
and
grow
respectful.
exactly, and this is how the whole thing should go down.
Totally. That's what the nature of debate is all about. We like to hear a good, sound, logical argument. So if you have a good, sound, logical argument for arguing that lockdown is all a load of baloney, well, we want to hear it. We want to hear your argument. Where is your empirical evidence? You know I'm going to say that at some point as well. Our evidence, by the way, is the testimonials and the first-hand experiences that we personally have heard here at StudioKerkyra from frontline medical people. And not just one country, more than one country. So we don't buy this argument that it's all a load of rubbish and it's not strictly true, it's politically motivated or it's media centered or it's something to do with mobile telephone Lex generation. That, incidentally, is the biggest load of rubbish ever. And I can't, do you know what, Thomas? I have to say, I can't understand why Eamon Holmes, who's a famous TV presenter and mornings in the United Kingdom, why he got so het up about the subject, quite frankly. I mean, I've seen the interview on YouTube. It's repeated
I
there.
haven't seen it.
I don't quite understand. And, you know, Ofcom have their regulations, and there is no proof, by the way, to the rumour that this mobile telephony has any dealings whatsoever or connections with COVID-19. And we keep repeating the same old line that many of the countries that have been so badly affected by COVID-19, there isn't a single thing of this new generation mobile telephony in their country at the moment. So how can that be?
So, yeah, we're going to find out. We're going to discuss that. But now I'm going to make you speak in another language. So, hello to Army. Thanks, Army, for tuning in and saying hello. And she said, it's hard times. Be safe, all of you. So, great. The same to you. But
well done, Army, and Heiva Ilta. So, I'm glad it was Finnish you asked me to speak in.
That's great.
Any other language, I don't think I'd be able to. Mind you, I should point out, I only know 2 phrases in Finnish. What a wonderful country that must be. I've never had the pleasure to go there, but maybe one day I will. That's good afternoon and good evening. What I've just said is good evening.
Good evening.
Heiva Ilta. Army, we absolutely love hearing from you. Thank you so much. You're great, Army.
Great. And here, hello to Xenia Drambu. Hi, thanks
Hi,
for
Xenia.
watching. And Sally Roberts is saying hello from West
Hi,
Cornwall.
Sally,
That's a
in
good one.
beautiful West Cornwall, yes. Hopefully we can bring some sunshine to you across the waves of the internet. But unfortunately, today here in Corfu, it's not very sunny. It's a bit grey and cloudy, but it was 16 degrees earlier on, so we can't complain. And of course, being in Corfu, we're extremely lucky because, as you know, it's a very beautiful place. Mind you, just like West Cornwall. That's beautiful too, Thomas.
Oh, yeah, I know. Don't tell me, man.
Tintagel, that's a place that comes to mind on the North Cornwall coast. Yes,
yeah.
Amazing place, yeah.
See, here, Lavinia is writing in, good message, guys, read that, that's brilliant. But she said, what do you expect if you have a health minister without any experience for working in healthcare, apart from with a private American company? I think Matt Hancock will be the foul guy, but the ones I fear are the 2 hawkish Dominics, Raab and Cummings.
Oh, Vinny, I'm right there with you on that one.
Isn't it?
I have a real problem with Dominic Cummings. Never met the man. He might be a very nice man, but any man in such a position of influence, responsibility, and dare I say, power to advertise for wackos and weirdos for top jobs of advisory nature in 10 Downing Street. Doesn't that say it all, really?
Oh, of course it does. I mean,
surely you want brainy people, people that are pragmatic, people that have a heart and are there for the common good, the good of their people. These elected politicians are only there but for the people, no other reason. They must be reminded
you're joking.
of that.
They're elected by the people, and they are not here for the people. They're here for themselves.
Yes,
that's totally apparent when you look at what's happening now. Because if I can have now a political row about not related to our current situation, I mean, should be sacked, should be immediately resign. It is ridiculous to have other arguments running on the sideline when we have a crisis like this, and then they're behaving like children. When I look at the press conference, I'm not watching this in the evening, this update anymore.
Well,
I stopped because that's, you know what, it makes me angry just watching. Well, every excuse. They cannot answer one question straight. So where I said over-educated, slowly I'm getting the feeling, you know what, they blacked their way in. They're not as clever as they say they are, and they're not as competent as they say they are. This is all just, if you it always depends who you know, they say. You know the right people and they have the right backer with money. You can become prime minister too, definitely.
Oh,
and
well,
if you can make a wind,
funny you should say that, Thomas.
Farage is the same. Throw a lot of money and get rich
Ugh.
backers, and you can achieve things like that. You can disturb the peace we had for so long time, and that peace disturbance we experience now everywhere, that's only down to our leaders and not to the people. Because when you see what people do for each other in such an extraordinary time like now, it's, it makes you feel warm around the heart. You see the humanity is still here.
Oh,
it still exists big time, and we care for each other. But it's always the people who have lots, they don't care.
No.
Yeah, down there. Because another question, what is with all the people who were living in poverty in the United Kingdom? What's happening with them now? How bad is it for them?
Yes, absolutely terrible. But you said a lot of things there, Thomas.
Yeah, sorry,
no. I was just, before I forget, I was just going to get back to one of them. You said it's only a certain type of person that can become prime minister. How right you are. I was told at 12 years of age by my headmaster that on no uncertain terms I could ever become prime minister, or even dare to suggest I should be an MP. I wasn't the right sort of person. No, he's dead now, and he has ended up being a bankrupt school. So maybe he was wrong. But on the subject of press conferences and Downing Street briefings, Thomas, there was one you say about overeducated. Yes, maybe there's a mixture. Overeducated, maybe, but also undereducated. Did you happen to see Priti Patel? Now, she's the Home Secretary.
Yeah.
You see
how did this happen?
Well, she was asked a question, and I have to say I can't remember the number. She was asked, she had to read out a number that turned out to be something like 300,000 and something, but she completely got it wrong and kept mentioning hundreds of thousands. So I would suggest she's either desperately needing an optician's, or she didn't do very well at maths at school. I actually failed my maths O-level, but I can still read out some big numbers. How on earth was she able to take that office? Priti Patel, I'm talking about. And yes, I'm being full on because she is the Home Secretary, one of the highest offices in the land of the United Kingdom. How on earth do these people get there? I do not know. But when they're there, they're not doing a particularly good job because, as Thomas has reminded you, they failed miserably with the PPE for care home staff. Obviously, we've just been hearing about, but also
annoying.
NHS.
That makes me really angry
and
just hearing that.
They can't even get the testing of the staff who are offering their lives on a daily basis tested correctly. One of our viewers answered a question why there was not so much of an uptake in the few testing stations that there are. The government themselves, the United Kingdom, are moaning about the 40,000 places and only 18 or 20 are coming along. One of our viewers suggested that there are mobile units, but someone else of our viewers suggested that there's still a commute of up to 60 miles to get a mobile unit. I mean, can that be right? I'm not disputing what the viewer has said, but that seems to be preposterous and be devoid of any common sense whatsoever.
But the irony in one thing jumps in is there was a 99-year-old man who walked 100 laps around his garden.
Fantastic.
Exactly, Captain Don Moore. 100 laps around his garden, raised over 20 million pounds on that.
27 the last
27
now,
now. But he is doing that, and then we have the problems with the care homes. Does the workers are not protected proper, and does the residents is not protected? Is it are they getting punished because they are old?
Yes. Well,
they have one message, and there's only one message to the Prime Minister out there. Said, mate, don't make these mistakes. The day comes, you are getting old too. So don't make any mistakes there.
Well, Thomas, can I share something with you and our lovely viewers and audience? I had a very unpleasant phone conversation. This is going back to the year 2000, I think. Round that time, I was talking to a doctor who was the fund holder of an NHS practice, became a millionaire, bought a very large estate in Cornwall, and was a sop to drug companies. If you went into his office, everything you saw was supplied by the main pharmaceutical company at the time. On a very fractious telephone conversation, he was telling me that in his view, and indeed the view of many other doctors and nurses in the NHS, that when you reach the age of 75, you should be euthanized.
I mean, it's
this
ridiculous.
Is
it's just
telling me, and my mother was 75.
You know what?
And I said to him, "What about your mother, doctor? When's she going to be 75?"
This is different, and there's different rules. That's how it works. For him, it's probably different.
Well, I was shocked that this is a doctor, the boss of a fund-holding practice, made a millionaire out of taxpayers' money, telling me that it's medical advice that People should be euthanized at 75 in the UK. Well, I'll tell you this, guys, I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely outrageous. We've heard some wonderful stories. You've just said about
Yeah,
Tom
but
Moore
the
at
worst
99.
thing, but the worst thing is this guy was swearing an oath when he became a doctor.
Ah,
So what is about?
Exactly.
What is with that?
there you go. He's just like the politicians, isn't he?
Of course,
Just
as soon
there
as it gets
to
tough,
favour his own pocket.
Yeah.
They don't care about humanity. They don't care about individual people.
Yeah.
I could talk for hours about the failings of certain doctors.
Totally,
and
but
I'm
you
a
know,
living
90,
example
yeah.
of that, actually. But here we are. We're StudioKerkyra, an independent live streaming production company, bringing Lockdown SK live to you, and we are your digital platform. This is exactly what we want to do: debate and discuss things that are contentious, perhaps on the edge. We don't care. There are no taboos here at StudioKerkyra. And we relish the prospect, actually, of debating all these points, because hopefully, together, collaborating, we can help to make a better world. That's the point of it all. Surely, this virus, if it's taught us one thing, the old ways weren't working. So many people in society were being neglected. We've just been talking about older people in care homes.
The backbone of the country, you know
Yes.
what? These
They
people
gave
made
their
it
lives.
come with.
Exactly.
They enabled us to
Yes,
live like
totally.
we live now.
And how
Without
they've
them,
been
we wouldn't
treated.
have that.
No.
And you know, I
Disgraceful.
reject everything. You know, a 99-year-old man raises that money, raises the awareness, makes so much wind, you know, to help where they can. They still can have. They have so much knowledge. Maybe, you know what, they have problems in moving. Maybe they have to be looked after. But if you talk with them, I tell you that they are treasure trove of ideas. They have so much experience. And, you know, instead, maybe the politicians should start talking less and listening more.
Absolutely, and you just reminded about my aunt. She sadly made it till 92, so she had a good innings, but she was milking all on her own a herd of 20 or 30 cows, I do believe, when she was 88. So that's marvellous. I had another aunt that was walking to the shops at 98. So never give up hope. Never give up. Life is precious, and we should all enjoy every day. Just a couple of bits of good news, Thomas, from the United Kingdom, because we don't want to be drowned in bad news. I read today that B&Q are opening 14 stores very soon, and another 60 to come next week. So you can go along and get your DIY and your bits and pieces from B&Q. And the best news of all,
how do
Thomas,
they say? You can do it when you're B&Q.
well, that's what they say, yes. The other bit of good news is, would you believe, the new factory in Wales, St Anthem, I think, from Aston Martin, are going to resume production of their SUV on the 5th of May. Now, we all need to know that news, but it's good for James Bond. It's good for James Bond. And on a serious note, Volkswagen have already started a car production in one plant in Germany. Renault and Mercedes-Benz are going to be starting next week. So there's some green shoots in car production. Mind you, there aren't so many dealers out there, or indeed customers to buy. So I don't know whether, you know, how that's going to pan out. But at least it's good news that things are slowly starting to open.
Definitely is good news. So when these lockdown restrictions are coming down and start easing slowly, then we're gonna see what's happening. We hope with the flights, of course, until mid of May we don't know nothing what the European Union is deciding on commencing the flights, and then the airlines have to be involved and organized. And here is the same. So if it happens, would be great. This would be really, really good, because then we just, you know, slipped past the complete catastrophe. If that's not happening, then we're gonna face one. So this is the two things, and at the moment it looks much better than we initially thought. I mean, when you believe the reports, when you believe everything what is said to you. So
yes, although I'll just remind you what Mrs. Merkel said today, that she feels that we're only at the beginning of this and not at the end. It doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon, and we can't even be sure that the peak of some of these waves have actually happened yet. There's an awful lot of unreporting, there's a time lag in statistics, and who's taking note of the numbers of people who are sadly dying at home from COVID-19 around the world? We don't really know much about those figures. We've talked about the care homes, which are an explosion waiting to hit the figures when they eventually do come out. But I wouldn't say it's over, and I would say we are early stages. It's awful depressing to say that, but I think
there's happy things coming. David Roseman is just reminding us, best of all news is that our local brewery now does home deliveries.
Good one, David.
That's a good
You're
one.
saved on that one. Great, yes. That would go down well all over the place, wouldn't it? Home deliveries from breweries, how wonderful for beer drinkers. Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. And here some Tom Giddings is writing in, and that's good. You never see a poor doctor or fundraiser. Always got to be something for themselves. Captain Tom raises this money. So much goes to admin costs, apparently. How is that right? So I mean,
that's
you
a
see,
good point.
that's
I haven't seen any figures on the admin fee
No.
there. That's a very good point
But-
that you've raised.
yes, but I have to say the fundraising company is doing that through. Yeah, they donated money to that course too. So
Yes, that's true.
they donated over 10,000 to that.
He
and
had
they
a
eased something.
GoFundMe page.
Yes, and I think they done something there, so the administration costs are not as high as everybody thinks. When you
Good.
read through now, yes, they take administration costs definitely, no. But in this case, they made an exception and they donated. So there is a
That's
little
good.
bit different.
And maybe it's the NHS Charities Together is the actual umbrella fund that most of the fundraising money is going to. Let us hope that their administration costs are not too high. At the moment, I don't know, but thank you very much, Tom, for pointing that out to us. Yes, that is a concern. And I mean, we can't have that wasted. The effort of that fantastic man, Captain Tom.
Definitely
We
not.
just can't.
No, that man is great, and this just makes you proud of the older generation again.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so important to look after them, because we can still learn one or two things from them.
Well, yes, and I've just remembered Melita posted a picture a few weeks ago of her mother at 97 darning her nightgown. You see, she wouldn't have been able to do that if she'd been exterminated by a wealthy millionaire doctor at 75. I'm totally against that. If I offend anyone by saying that, well, do you know what? Too bad. Take me on, phone me, Skype me, write me in. I don't think anyone should be put to death at 75 just because they're 75. Do you remember that film, Logan's Run, back in the 70s?
Lavinia commented on that one, and she said the doctor should have been struck off, Adrian, completely against the Hippocratic Oath.
Absolutely.
I must have.
Do you want to know
must
his
have
name? I'll tell you his
hundreds
name.
of doctors
I'm going to
throughout
get
my life,
sued.
yeah.
I'm going to get sued, but I don't care. I'm going to give you his name. Dr. Baldock. And the practice was the grey shot and hindhead surgery. And I could speak volumes on that. I'm living testament of a life ruined because of NHS doctors. That doesn't mean to say I'm put off by the NHS, because I think the NHS is the most amazing, wonderful institution. One of the very best things of the United Kingdom.
Definitely. And here Sally Roberts is writing, never thought it was going to be so scary getting old in the United Kingdom. They want to lock us away forever. Good luck with that. What amazes is that people actually believe the government cares. And I think you spot on there, because I don't. With all the actions, with everything we saw now since this crisis started, no, I have to say they don't. They say they do, but they don't. You see this in the press conference. Just look at them. And if they say they with all their heart, they in there, they're lying. Simple
I
as
think
that.
they need to have a polygraph, as long as it's not Jeremy Kyle's or his executive producers.
Yeah,
model. But yes, I do. Mind you, yesterday, one bit of extraordinary thing happened. Yesterday at Prime Minister Question Time in the Houses of Parliament was the very first PMQs done by Zoom, by video conference, which was quite extraordinary, and I'm very pleased to see that was happening. Apparently it took longer than normal because they had to allow for the technical crews to make final adjustments before the MPs spoke. But
technical crews, you know.
that's what they
technical
said.
crews.
That's
How
what
many
they
are
said.
there to set this
Well,
up
there you go.
technically? Something what you setting up, that one person can do that. One person can do that. So I'm not surprised that the money from the government is going everywhere, and they're moaning about, oh, we have to pay here. No, just reality. Take it, you know, it's just money making money, and money making money, and that's all it is.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, have we got any more comments?
Oh, we got a lot of comments out there,
great.
and people saying hello. So Tom Gettings is saying politicians care about is their pockets, and that's right. No, Vivian is saying the doctor should take his own medication and see how that would. This goes,
Spot
Adrian.
on, Vivian.
So
You're
that's a good
absolutely
one.
right. Yes, he should. I wonder what's happened to him. Hope he doesn't sue me, but do you know what? In a way, I hope he does, because then it will be exposed, won't it, you see?
Definitely. Guys, thank you so much for writing in all these messages, everything. We got a lot of comments today, and this was great, and we got a little bit of a rant, and this is great. Now we're just saying the truth. It is what we feel and what we see, and it's not just us who sees that. It's quite a lot of people, and more and more. So I think whitewashing anything won't work anymore. No,
we've gone
they have to
beyond
come
that.
up with the cards now.
Absolutely.
They have to come up with
Totally.
actions, and they have
Yeah.
to start showing that they are real politicians, and they can make good sustainable decisions for their country and for their people, nothing else. But sadly enough, guys, this is all we have time for today. We're over an hour again, and this was fantastic talking with you. Fantastic having all these messages in and really talk about these things. So if you want to talk with us about anything close to your heart, you can do this live via Skype with us here in Corfu or wherever you are. Just call us, have it in the show here live, or send us a comment like you done, guys, today. It was great. So I apologize if I don't read out anything. If I forgot something and you want to let me know, write an email to inbox@StudioKerkyra.com. But sadly enough, that's all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for listening and sharing your opinions with us. If I really missed something, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put this in tomorrow. But have a fantastic evening. Enjoy that warm weather in the UK. And I'm gonna see you tomorrow 6 p.m. again. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. A very good afternoon to you all.